So funny. Did I tell you when we had the quarterly meeting Saturday, which is 2 days before this is recording? I was looking at the projector on the wall because I had the projector on, and I was like, "Damn, that projector's blurry. Someone must have messed with the focus, right?" And then I like get up close, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, it's not blurry." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't have my glasses on. My eyes are blurry, not the projector." Because my prescription's not like that intense. So it's like you and everything within my arm's reach. Well, even like
That's
the
fine.
doorknob is fine, but then like the computer monitor, that's starting to get blurry. So I'm like, the computer monitor's not focused. Oh,
No, it's okay.
no, it's fine. It's fine. Welcome to part 2 of shit clients ask. I don't know, maybe we won't keep that in there. Part 2 of questions clients ask during their first hypnosis session. So we'll just pick up where we left off. The one that we hadn't gotten to yet was, what if I can't be hypnotized? Which is kind of a follow-up to can I be hypnotized? Right? But yeah. What do
Yeah,
you usually say? It's very similar. So same kind of stuff, but it's just not a thing.
yeah, and I probably take this. I say the same thing that would be my answer for the first question, but this one I might, if somebody says something like that, then I might just go ahead and like start with the depotentiation and be like, well, then you're doing it wrong, and you need to try harder.
Nice.
And if it doesn't,
Just use it.
if it doesn't work, then like I don't know what you're really doing here.
Right, you're broken.
Yeah, like I don't. Then you don't. If you can't be hypnotized, then you can't be helped.
Because you're dead. Like you're not living.
And then so then transfer over to something like that. Obviously to
Yeah.
still draw them back in, but
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very much the same kind of response as like that's just not a thing. Like everyone has a subconscious mind, and
Yeah.
when I say subconscious mind, I just mean like the automatic parts of your brain. Like nobody's alive who doesn't have the automatic parts of their brain. Like that's a computer.
Well, and I kind of want to create that experience for them right there, which
Yeah,
is by being negative like that. That's what it's doing.
like showing them that
Yeah.
they have automatic brain function.
Yeah, because they're well, then you're doing it wrong, just like everything else in my life.
There we go. Well, it leads naturally into the next one, which is, can I be hypnotized if I don't believe in it? Which I think, I mean, well, the answer is yes, absolutely. But almost even more so of, yeah, I think that actually helps.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't believe in it, it's like the resistance helps make it more impactful.
Yeah.
Well, and so, um, yeah, I would almost take that over somebody who is a little bit too willing. Like sometimes people who
Yeah.
come in who put like way too much faith in it, that this is going to be my miracle cure. This is going to be the thing that finally fixes my life. And it's like, there's no such thing as that. Like nothing, no thing, no technique takes away the importance or the need for personal responsibility. And so if you kind of hand over like, oh, hypnosis is going to fix my life. No, no, no. Hypnosis is just a tool like anything else. You fix your life. That's the premise of therapy. You're the person who fixes your life. I'm just giving you the tools or helping you gain awareness into some of the obstacles that have kept you from making the progress. So I feel like those kind of clients are the most difficult to hypnotize. People who don't believe in it, it's almost easier because it's very easy to show them their blind spots. It's like a magician, right? As long as if you're really focused over here, I don't believe in it. I get so much creative space to like do the magic over here because you're so focused on it's not real. I don't believe in it. So I love that piece.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's great.
I think it is great. I don't know if I've ever had anybody in my office who hasn't believed in it though. Have you?
I have. I think I can think of one client that was just like I think that they did it like in a stage hypnosis situation and
Mm.
somebody volunteered them for it or bet them or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
It wasn't necessarily their own volition.
Yeah,
Kind of
and
talked into it.
in stage hypnosis, they were kind of like playing along with it. But then and so they said it didn't work, and they're like,
That
and
doesn't
I,
sound true.
yeah,
Sounds like they got
exactly.
hypnotized.
It,
Playing along with it is how hypnosis is.
yeah, and so it's like my response is like, has anybody been like, I've actually can't be hypnotized? I'm like, I had a client say that, but that doesn't mean that that's true about that client.
Yes. I've had more clients than more than people say I don't believe in hypnosis or I can't be hypnotized. I've had people say that's not what I want. Like I just want to talk to you. I've had a lot
Yeah,
more people say that.
yeah.
They're like I don't want to sit there like quiet and like reflect. Like I want to talk. And so then all I do is I'm using the same principles, but I'm just using them in conversation rather
Yeah.
than like formal trance. I have a lot more of that. Well, and I'll have a lot more of that, which is funny because people will book me for a hypnosis session
That's about exactly what I was about to
and
say.
then just end up talking the whole. And I'll listen. I've interrupted them. I'm like, hey, we're at about 15 minutes in. I feel like I've gotten a good backstory. It's time to begin the hypnosis. Are you ready to do that? And they're like, well, actually, I'd like to tell you some more. And I'm like, hey, this is your session. I just want to be mindful of the time to serve you well. But if you want to use it to talk, like that sounds great to me too.
And
And then they talk for the full hour.
yeah, and I think that actually happens a lot for me too. Is with even with clients that have been established as um like talk therapy clients say, I also want to get into the hypnosis,
All the time.
and
And then
then
never do.
and then I say, okay, like let's do that next week, and this is how I'd like you to prepare. This is what I would like you to do. Come back in. Hey, did you do any of that stuff? Did you think about any of this stuff? And I always give them like that assignment just to see like how serious they are about it.
That's nice. I don't. I just say, like, hey, I know you mentioned last week you want to do hypnosis today. How's that sound? And they'll be like, well, a lot happened this week.
Yeah,
I need a process. Like we can get to that
yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
What do you think that is? I wonder if that's resistance or if it's just like comfortability. I guess it depends on per the client for sure, but
I think that it's also a lot like, hey, I want this quick fix. And then they realize it's more complicated.
it's a lot of that.
But it's also the other things too that you said. I think it's
I
also
don't think I've had anyone who was scared of hypnosis, like they're avoiding it because they're fearful or because it's uncomfortable. I think it's like soothing, like talking to your therapist when you have a good relationship with your therapist. It's like, oh, I was really looking forward to that thing that I do every week.
processing.
And so it's like if I do hypnosis, I don't know how that's going to be, but I do know that talking to you makes me feel good. So, well, I want to talk to you because I know I like that and it makes me feel good and that's my routine. So I don't think it's necessarily resistance. I think more often than not with my clients it's um let's do the thing that I was looking forward to. I don't know what hypnosis is, so I wasn't necessarily looking forward to it.
Right.
I'm looking forward to talking to you.
Which really says there's so much value in having the conversation.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't think anything is missed out on
You know.
by having the conversation because I'm a trained hypnotherapist, as are you. So a lot of the same work I'd be doing in hypnosis, I'm doing in the conversation. It's just kind of a different format.
Yeah.
It's like, am I studying by watching YouTube videos or by making flashcards? I mean, both are studying, right? It's just, which one do you want to use? Well, I'd rather watch the YouTube tutorial instead of making flashcards today. Sounds great. You're still studying.
Yeah, which so for everybody listening or watching to this, like that's why the conceptual aspect of hypnosis is so important. You understanding how to use this stuff in every context is and in students what just came up in me is like how important it is to understand that opposed to what so many people ask us for, which is, well, can you give me the technique, can you tell me what to say, because
Oh, powerful. Yeah.
that just really struck me when you were saying that, because if you were to just be like, no, this is what we planned on doing, this is what it should look like, I don't think that it's that much resistance to the process of healing. It's just that you, as a clinician, have done such a good job at giving them that space hypnotically
Mm-hmm.
with their eyes open,
Mm-hmm.
then, and that's safe for them because they have the relationship and the rapport with you instead of doing the technique 100% correctly.
Yeah. I hope we can like clip this and send it to people because the feedback we get on the course all the time is like, wow, there's a lot more theory and conceptualization in this course than way more than I thought there would be. I thought it'd be a lot more technique. And it's like there is technique, but it's like what, 10%
Yeah.
like of the course because it's just not what matters. I think a solid foundation in the theory and the practice is so much more valuable because then you create the technique. And the technique is going to be different for each person. So it's like I would much rather somebody know why they're doing what they're doing than just how to do what they're doing. And we've structured the
Yeah.
course in that way because of the feedback from our clients. So,
Which is, I don't know. I was thinking about that in a new depth. I was also like, just like spacing out just about how like, wow, like the most impactful thing is be able to provide that. And so many students, like, this is this gold nugget over here. And so many students are just like, yeah, but I want to know about the tinfoil.
can you teach me the script?
Well, these things are not the same.
Yeah.
Like,
Tinfoil and golden nuggets. They're both shiny, but there's a very strong difference in value.
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So, anyways, to answer the question, can you be hypnotized if you don't believe in it? Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. In fact, it might help. Okay, the other one we get asked. You ready to move on?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Will I say or do anything that I don't want to? You know, the standard response is no,
Correct.
but I'll be a little bit depotentiating and say yes. You may do a lot of things that you don't want to do consciously,
Yeah.
but you will only do the things that you unconsciously want to do.
Yep.
And so that can be very surprising, right? So, like, you get this very stoic, very, they got all their guards and defenses up and
I'm a real boy.
yeah, I'm a real tough guy, real boy, or I'm a real strong woman, independent. I got like, things on my own, and then they get into hypnosis and they just start bawling, right? And it's like, why do I want to do that? Well, something in you did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did.
Cool.
Consciously, no, but I'm so glad that we got your consciousness out of the way because I don't know who told you you can't cry. I don't know who told you in order to be a good boy, you have to not do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's a part of you, a stronger, wiser, more capable part of you that knows you need to.
Well, and what comes up to me is how that's a really, for the information that the person wants, that's a really bad question to ask, because
Ooh, okay, tell me more.
what is I and what does want mean? And if I am a whole bunch of different parts and I'm made up of different motivations and different archetypes, and I have different desires, and I am not just one singular thing at any given moment that is going to be concrete for the rest of my life, then the question doesn't make any sense.
No,
And I'm
no, it doesn't.
obviously more than just one thing. So it's just like, are you are always doing all of the things that you don't want to do and want to do at the same time underneath that way of looking at the thing. There's we were just talking, walked a whole lot yesterday. 26,000 steps. And like my
There's a lot of stepping.
my back hurts, my feet hurt. Do I want to do anything other than sleep right now? Yeah. So I'm doing something that I don't want to do. Because I want to do it more than I don't want to do it, but I still don't want to do it.
Right.
And there's plenty of other things that I'm not doing that I know that I really want to do, but I'm not going to do them because even though I don't want to do them, I still want to do them, and I don't want to do them. So I'm not going to do them. So a little bit of some wordplay to play about that, because the question I think is kind of silly.
It is kind of silly, but it's also really important because I think the reason that hypnosis is so effective is it plays on the same principles that the trauma and addiction do.
Yeah.
And so, every time somebody does something they don't want to do, like engage in their problematic behavior or addictive behavior. Like, that's not me. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you
Well,
do.
a part of you does.
Yeah.
And the faster that we can find and give a big hug and say, I see you, to that part of you that does, the quicker your recovery, and especially trauma. Especially
Especially trauma.
trauma. It's like, well, I want to be a confident, bold person. No, you don't.
No.
No, you don't.
That gets you hurt.
That's dangerous and it gets
Yeah.
you hurt.
Yeah.
And so I get it. And until there's an awareness of, oh, okay, I appreciate and respect the part of me that doesn't want to, you won't be able to make any progress.
Or all of the parts that don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes there's even multiple parts that maybe there's even a majority of parts, but there's a few parts that are just very adamant. This is what we're doing, or this is what we're not doing.
Yeah.
And the thing that really helped me is after one of my own therapy sessions, one time I was being questioned about this, and the thought came to me is it's like, do I want to do this, or do I want to do this? Which is kind of a simpler version, and I like the idea of all of the parts, but most of the time it's I want to do this,
But I don't want to.
because so many other parts say we're not doing this. We don't, as a majority, we're not doing this. We don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But then there's some very loud parts, some very built up parts, some parts of me that have been molded or groomed by my society or something that says like this is something that I should want to do. Well,
Yeah, it can even be simpler than that. Like, I was out from the gym for 2 months because of hernia surgery. And so this is my first week back. And I'll tell you what, I do not want to go to the gym, but I want to go to the gym.
yeah.
And so I think a lot of people expect not for things to be simple, but things to be completely one way.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
Health is simple, right? And to be honest, like being healthy is simple. Do what makes you happy, take care of your body, engage in healthy relationships, right? Dysfunction, pathology is wildly complex. And that's why we go get advanced degrees in trying to understand the nuanced and complex ways that people break. So I did not want to go to the gym, but I did want to go to the gym. And so the simple, healthy response is I love and accept both parts of me. And while caring for the part of myself that didn't want to go to the gym because my body knows that it's been injured and is healing, I called up my trainer. I said, hey, I'm getting back in the gym. I'm finally off of restrictions. Can we get back slowly so I don't injure my body? And can we do 30-minute workouts instead of 1-hour workouts? Because I know that getting myself into a new schedule is going to be difficult. And so I want to prioritize the pattern rather than the length.
Love it.
And so they're like, yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great plan. And so I was very successful this week because I cared for and appreciated both parts of me because both have something valuable to say. So will I do things I don't want to in hypnosis? Yes, but no.
Yeah.
Because there's parts of you that don't want to be vulnerable, that don't want to explore your subconscious mind, that don't want to be honest about the shadow that's inside of you. But there's other parts that really, really, really do.
Yeah.
And hypnosis holds space for both. And that's what's really, I think, the kindest and most empathetic about hypnosis is it does create that space for both.
That's a really great point.
Sometimes the other ones are more like a hammer. Like, change your thoughts. Whoa, okay. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, that's a really great
You're tripping off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plug for the name of the show.
Yeah. No, something that I want to think about later, but that was
Yeah, it's something to explore later. I mean, it's why underneath Lion Counseling, the tagline is acceptance through awareness. It's this principle that we're talking here. That's why those two words are on my body, right? It's like you first have to become aware that there are many parts of you. And then the second step to healing is to accept them.
Well, I think that the kind of the epiphany that I was thinking about was summarized. My brain was kind of going there, but then when you said like some of the other things are like a hammer, I'm just thinking about it like in a state of hypnosis, what it feels like is all of those parts coming to the table and having a meal together where,
A meal together. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's the vibe.
yeah, like,
That's the feeling.
but at the same time, the more cognitive and the more concrete we get, the more it is like one part bullying another part. And so then like I had the idea of
Oh,
just like that really the singular use of concrete cognitive or behavioral therapies is teaching a client how to bully themselves.
oof.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying that you should not use techniques within those theoretical orientations, but what I'm saying is the singular use of those orientations.
Yes.
Like, all we're going to do, we're not going to create space for those other parts. We're just going to try and change your ideas about this behavior, this thought is like bullying.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's a huge difference between a good cognitive behavioral therapist and a poor cognitive behavioral
Sure, sure, sure.
therapist. Because a good one will use cognitive behavioral therapy to relieve the internal bullying. A poor one will use cognitive therapy to increase the pressure and the bullying.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to push you in this direction. And we had that quarterly meeting, and this was the whole topic of that quarterly meeting. I mean, we talked about this topic particularly for 2 hours,
Yeah.
about how you have to recognize and appreciate the parts and what they're trying to accomplish, though they may not be accomplishing it in the way that you would like. However, even
Oftentimes.
further, what's that?
I said oftentimes.
Oftentimes. However, even further, those ways that it expresses itself are usually because of the internal bullying. Like when you are drinking to satisfy a need, that's usually because you've bullied yourself in other areas, and the only way for your full person to express itself is then through a maladaptive strategy like drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, you may do many things that you don't want to do in hypnosis. But I guarantee you there's a part that wants that. And I think it's a great sort of parallel to stage hypnosis. It's like, wow, quack like a duck and I was
Yeah.
acting a fool. It's like there's
If
a
you
part
want
of you
to.
that wants
Yeah,
to.
yeah, it's fun.
This is why we see a lot of CEOs or movie stars or, big famous people like into weird sex stuff or like strange get-togethers and gatherings and parties. They have to be, the paparazzi's on them all the time. The pressure of the company is on their shoulders all the time.
Mm,
And it's like there's a part of them that wants to express themselves without like that playful childlike wonder. But so much of the pressure, the conscious pressure, is over here that it's like, well, yeah, I want to do these things. And you either drink or you find some space in your life to play.
right.
Yeah.
And they get the money and the power to be able to do those things that would otherwise just be a fantasy that turns into acceptance and progress, and then that's when people get hurt.
There's a couple people in the news like that right about now. Oh man. All right, my screen turned off. Let's see what the next one is.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that would be easier than it was. Oh man, that's a tough one. What does hypnosis feel like? I don't know, maybe tough for me, maybe not tough for you.
When I'm being hypnotized, I don't feel anything. Which I don't think that I feel anything. Like even when my body has some sort of sensation, it's not like my arm gets tired when I'm doing an arm raise.
Mm,
Uh, but there is an experience of my arm raising.
yeah. I mean, the standard answer I give clients is it feels like a good nap.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good one, really accessible, really comforting to be able to tell a client. But the deeper answer that we're going to explore here is like, the thought that came to my mind is bad. Not the pain leading up to, but actual just death. And what I mean by that is like
Yeah.
more philosophically, it's like
Yeah.
being alive is such a pain and a struggle that like I'm really looking forward to living a long and full and productive life that makes the world a better place than when I found it. That I look forward to the reward of being finally at peace.
Yeah.
And hypnosis feels like that.
It's a
It's
lot of
like
peace.
it's a lot of peace. And so I can't even compare it to like drugs. Like there's no drug that gives me the same like experience either because even that's different. Like it really does just feel like peace. I feel whole. I feel loved. I feel accepting of all the parts of myself, even the parts that other people don't like about me, but that need to be there. And there's no pain or pressure in my body. It's like I would say floating, but it's also not like floating because I don't feel light. I feel heavy. It's like if you could float heavy. That's what it feels like.
Melt.
Melt. Yeah,
It's like a
melt
melting.
is nice. Like grandma's cooking with lots of butter. Just-
No,
yeah.
I this is gonna sound super nerdy and date me too.
Okay.
But it feels like what I would imagine. I can't remember his name, but on Star Trek Deep Space Nine,
Okay. This is great. I don't know where you're going.
there's a character who is the security officer of the space station.
Okay.
And said security officer is, I don't know what they call it, but he's able to change shape into anything that he knows how to change shape into.
Thinking
Um,
like an octopus.
he could be anything, and he's like a goo that holds itself together. And there's this one episode. I've gone back like 25 years.
I love it.
Uh, there's this one episode where
I
he
think it's
goes,
our core demographic, to be honest.
just so somebody can empathize with me.
Yeah, for sure. We're deep shadow work and trauma is usually not like a Gen Z topic.
Well,
Uh,
he goes back to his home planet, which is basically just like a collective of all of those beings that have melted in together. And so it's just
Whoa,
like
really?
the whole planet is this like liquid compilation of all of the beings that are like this that are all in tune. And he tries it, and like for because of his attachments to the outside world, he has to go somewhere else or do something.
Yeah.
He can't stay in this like liquid melted mixing of all of his family.
That sounds like heaven, right? Does he enjoy it?
Yeah, but it's intense. And so that's why
Oh,
I was just
yeah.
like he's in tune
Ooh,
with.
the intensity is a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hypnosis is intense.
Yeah, because I mean his consciousness is connected to all of the consciousness of his species.
That's why those from a more spiritual realm will use it for past life regression or
Sure.
astral projection. Yeah, like if you ever wanted to astral project, like hypnosis is the technique to do that. I mean, if that's part of your belief system. I mean, I personally stick to the scientific stuff. Like I love that. Like if that's where you want to go, I'll even assist you in going there, right? But I make no claims. I'm not a pastor.
Mhm.
I'm not a religious leader. That's not my role. So I just stay in my lane. But yes,
Yeah.
that's a good point. Like if you were going to tap into the collective, that's very much what Carl Jung believed.
Hmm.
And that's very much the state in which that would be accomplished.
I haven't thought about that in at least 25 years.
Star Trek?
Well, that especially that like if you were to ask me if I knew that before this conversation, I would be able to know.
It's great. We unlocked something. Very, very cool. So yeah, it's tough to say if you haven't experienced it. And like there's little hypnoses. Is that the plural? There's little hypnoses we experience
I think so.
throughout our day. like, I would say, well, maybe I could compare it to like watching a movie because we're hypnotized when we watch a movie, or like maybe I could compare it to like driving in the car when you just kind of space out. But it's like, no, it's different than that too, because like there's such a demand from the car to focus on the thing that you space out, and there's
Yeah.
such a demand from the movie that you're beholden to that story that you're watching unfold,
Well,
that like formal like counseling therapeutic trance is so different.
yeah, if it's like a scale, it's like the trance that you get into when you're in like the deepest of car trances
Yeah,
is like a 1 or a 2. And what we're talking about is what does it feel to be a 10?
true,
So it's like
true. That's a really great. I didn't think about putting on a scale.
it's kind of,
You're getting a flavor.
yeah.
But it's like if you smell an essential oil of citrus and you're like, this is what an orange tastes like.
No,
I
no,
mean,
don't bite into that either.
no. But it's kind of like that, right? It's like, I
Right,
mean, that's definitely citrus,
right.
right? But it's not eating an orange.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, we live in Florida, right?
Yeah.
So it's not going to a Florida orange grove, walking through the trees, picking an orange and eating it.
Here's
That's a different experience.
here's a great one.
Okay. This is great.
The closest that I've ever maybe been into experiencing what hypnosis is when my conscious mind is still active
Okay.
is uh a couple of years ago when we had, because we're this week we're getting another hurricane,
Yeah.
and a
I
couple of
might know
years
where you're going. Okay,
with
okay.
Irma, or Matthew, I can't remember which one it was, but me and a handful of my neighbors, just like literally a bathing suit. I had bathing suit bottoms and my rain jacket on. That's
Nice.
it. And we got our lawn chairs out and we were sitting in my front yard, and there's like 6 of us that were just like sitting there, and we were just like enjoying this hurricane as it was happening. Um,
That's a great that's a great one. I would 100% agree, actually. There have been times where it's been dead quiet and everyone's in their homes, and I'll just go for a walk like around the neighborhood or through the woods like as the hurricane's about to approach, and it's that absolute like stillness and there's that weird change in the pressure,
yeah.
and so you feel heavy but light at the same time.
Hmm.
That's very close to what it feels like.
Yeah. Like a 6 or a 7 on that scale.
Yeah, yeah. I would say in order to make it feel like the 10 would be a little bit more love. Like if I felt like uh held, you know, like hugged in that experience, that would be the full experience for me.
Mm.
Yeah. Because I think there's a little bit more acceptance and appreciation that happens in hypnosis. But
Yeah.
that's the like physiological experience is like that hurricane is about to come through.
I'm tired of getting text messages from other people that are not Floridians
Yeah, I know.
telling me how to Florida.
At the time of this recording, there is a monster hurricane about to come through Wednesday. We're recording this Monday morning. And so everyone's losing their minds. So, but we've both grown up here.
Right. It's like, Floridians are going to Florida.
Yeah, yeah. Also, like it's so weird. Like everyone's like buying all this stuff. I'm like, has there ever been a single time where you've starved because of a hurricane? Have you ever once like been want for food because of a hurricane in Central Florida?
Right. And also, like,
Oh, what? And they're like, gotta buy all the water. Well, it's a swamp. There's plenty of water.
right.
There's never been a water issue.
And not only that, it's like, well, what if the power is out for 2 weeks? Then go on a vacation.
Yeah, just go somewhere. I don't know. I have this motorcycle with knobby tires. I'm very excited. Let's see if I can go get in some trouble. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we got to wrap up. The next 3 questions will be in part 3. If you got any questions, put them in the comments below. It looks like I'm going to have a couple days off here in Florida. Not because of the hurricane, but because people are being silly. So I'll get these podcast episodes uploaded. I'll be checking the DMs in the Discord. So hit me up. Let me know what you're doing. I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, bye.